Good afternoon. Let's call the Economic Development Authority regular meeting agenda for Tuesday, October 8th to order, please. Please call roll.
Larson. Black. Stai.
Here.
Grinde.
Here.
Hecht.
Here.
Horken.
Here.
Helms.
Here.
All right, approval of minutes from August 27th, 2024, regular meeting.
I'll move to approve. Second.
All opposed?
I like that.
Everyone agree?
Yep.
Yep.
Moves. Bills and communication. Review of accounts payable September 3rd, September 17th, and October 1st of 2024. Any questions or concerns? Good, because Carla's not here. All right, reports, delinquency updates.
We have no delinquency, sir.
Awesome. Director's reports for August 24th and September, or 24th, 2024, and September of 2024.
And at least we're not meeting on the 24th.
Right.
Does anybody have any questions?
Anything for Paul on that? Okay, financial reports.
We have none right now. We have none.
We have none. Is that good or bad?
It means Carl is on vacation.
Okay, good.
Okay. She's with her father. I think that's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfinished business, nothing. New business, beneficial ownership information reporting requirements.
This is a federal requirement, sir.
Yep, Miss Christine Anderson.
That went fast. Well, thank you guys for having me come in and talk to you about the beneficial ownership requirements. They're confusing to everybody
Is your mic on?
and not very well advertised. So there's a lot of businesses that don't know about them. So I'm going to run you through hopefully a quick but concise whole workshop on it. Let's see if I can make the computer work. Okay. So hopefully by the end of this presentation, you'll have a solid understanding what beneficial ownership is, why the U.S. is implementing beneficial ownership, and the requirements, and what businesses need to do to comply. We also covered who is required to report what happens when you don't, and the next steps for your business to stay compliant. So let's first start by defining what is beneficial ownership. A beneficial owner is any individual who directly or indirectly owns or controls 25% or more of a company, or they have substantial control over its operations. This includes owners behind the scenes, like someone who has control through another entity. It also includes individuals who exercise substantial control, like board members, officers, or executives who influence the major decisions. So it's not just the owner. The big question is why? Why is the U.S. government introducing these requirements? The primary goal is to increase transparency and combat financial crimes like money laundering, terrorist financing, and corruption. Anonymous shell companies have been a significant tool for hiding illicit activity, and the new rules are designed to prevent this. By making ownership information more transparent, it supports law enforcement and ensures more accurate, accountable business environment. A little bit of background. This was part of the Corporate Transparency Act of the Money Laundering Act of 2020. On the details, businesses must report beneficial owners' names, birth dates, addresses, and identification numbers. Information must also be updated whenever there's a change of ownership or control. So if you have a CEO or an executive in your company and they leave, for whatever reason, you need to take them off and update the file. If you have a board member and your board members change, that needs to also happen then as well. One of the information or the identification things that they really want is your driver's license number. They want a copy of your driver's license. The way some of my clients and myself have been able to kind of maneuver around that because I just have a problem with sending my driver's license information on my phone out to who knows where, is to go to your bank. Your lender has the ability to do that if you have a bank account. Very quick and easy. It takes them like 30 seconds. Excuse me. Whoops. Who must report? Corporations, LLCs, similar entities created in the U.S. or registered to do business here. Some exceptions would be publicly traded companies, financial institutions, large companies that report under other federal regulations. The focus is really on small businesses that have maybe a complex ownership structure. And that can be, I have a company and there's 6 owners, but I'm the main owner, but I get financing from these other people, so they have a share in my company. And I do see a lot of that. The compliance deadlines, new entities must report upon creation starting January 1st of 2024. I first learned about this about a year ago, last October. And once you create it, you have 60 days to report it. If you don't, we'll get into what happens next. Existing entities prior to January 1st, 2024 have until the end of this year, or January 1st of 25, to report. So we do have some time. And again, that's something you have to keep up on. As you have changes in your business. This is the fun part. The penalties for noncompliance. Civil penalties up to $500 a day. Criminal penalties are fines up to $10,000 and imprisonment for willful noncompliance. They mean business. This isn't one you have a choice of. Also, your reputation for no client compliance, it can harm your company's reputation. So if we were in COVID and you wanted to apply for the COVID money, you would not get it if you were not in compliant. So if we had another bout of COVID where everybody was shut down and there was a bunch of funding come, you would not get it. Much in the same of if you have a business in, say, the state of Minnesota and you don't do your yearly registration and updating your registration with the state of Minnesota, you would not have been eligible for the COVID funds as well.
Christine?
Yes.
Will it affect businesses' ability to apply for contracts from federal or state government?
Yes. Yes. Yep.
And relief for like floods or droughts?
Yep. It's going to affect everything. This is a federal mandate, a federal ruling. So anything federally, it's going to affect. So just a little tidbit. It takes you, if you do it yourself, you go on to finsid.gov. It will take you personally, if you only have one owner and nobody else that has more than 25% ownership, it'll take you about 10 minutes to do it. And the hardest part is uploading your driver's license. My son has a business and he did it on his phone while I was telling him about it, so it took him less than 3 minutes to do it. It is a pain. There are attorneys out there who will do it for you, but what I've heard is the average is about $300 to $500 to have an attorney do it for you. Or you can go to your bank for free, or you can do it for yourself for free.
You have to do this yearly or anytime there's a change?
Anytime there's a change. So you have to do it initially. So if you own a business, get it done before the end of the year. And after that, it's anytime there's a change. Okay?
Is it correct, too, if there's a change to like your mailing or physical address of the business?
Any changes, yes.
How are they notifying people of this? Like, if people that don't know if they've done it or not, or if it's done?
There are accountants that know about it, and if you have an accountant, your tax accountant or whatever, they should have been telling people about it. What I'm finding is they're not. Most people are not getting notification. So I'm trying to get out there and talk to people. Last December, I sent an email out to all of my SBDC clients and told them about it, gave them the website. It'll be on my Facebook page again shortly. any way that we can find, to get the information out. This is not a Minnesota thing. This is federal. So, it's kind of like all the COVID funding and that, good idea, good intentions, but not always well communicated.
And this is why I asked Christine if she could come in here and talk to us today, to make sure that it goes out on camera and that it's available for people can see that there is a requirement that they must comply with. Okay, it's
Are
important.
accountants filing it for people, or are they
Some-
just
some are.
notifying?
Some are. Depends on, how busy they are and if they choose to.
Sure.
Again, it's something that takes a few minutes to do, as, if you don't have time or you're not sure how to do it, I tell everybody go to your lender. Because your lender already has your driver's license on, and they have a different program that they can use where they don't have to get an actual copy of your driver's license, and they just go into the system in their own way. So, yeah. So let's talk about some action steps. Here's your checklist. You need to identify first who are your beneficial owners. Make a list of them, collect all the required information, and then submit it to FinCEN, and then to maintain accurate information and stay informed. When you go to fincen.gov, they have a spot on there where you can sign up for email notifications on updates. I suggest everybody does that as well. That way, any changes that come about, you have access to right away, and you can make the changes that are needed. How can your business prepare? Doing internal audits, and that's just, basically you can do it very easily. Make a spreadsheet that just lists everybody who has over 25% ownership or have lost my words. They have controlling interest in the business. Contact your legal counsel, your attorneys, or other professionals to really understand what it's all about and what you need to do. Because there are some people that don't need to. There are some nonprofits that don't need to. Government entities, depending on, may not need to. So it's good. They say there's software solutions. I haven't found any, but in my mind, I'll keep looking. If I know of anything, I'll let Maggie know. Otherwise, I just keep a spreadsheet and just update it, or maybe go into it once a year and update it. That's pretty much it for BOI. It's really short, sweet, easy. But if you don't know about it, it can be more difficult. I have a lot of questions of why. Why I have an EIN, I have a state ID number, I have everything else. Why can't they just pull it off that? It's a completely different standalone part of the federal government, and apparently they don't share information. So, we really need to do this because it is stopping the financial crimes out there. We don't think we see as much of it around here as they maybe do in New York or LA or somewhere big, but it's there. So start gathering your information right away, set up your spreadsheet or Word doc, and then, at minimum you could take it to your attorney, take it to a lender and have them do it if you don't want to do it yourself. Okay, I do have a couple extra tidbits for you. ESST, Earn Sick and Safe Time. They had a policy update in May of 2024. And so it's going to change a lot. And I was going to put it in here. It's just too much. So I will send it to Paul and Maggie, and they can pass that out to you guys so that you know. I don't think, yeah. I was going to, like I said, that says it's there, but it's not. It's a lot of who qualifies, who doesn't. Farmers don't. If you work for a farmer, you do not qualify. So that's the one that I noticed that affects pretty much everybody around here. It doesn't say ag businesses, but it does specify farmers. So The other one is the Minnesota paid leave, and I did put a little more information on this because it hasn't started yet. So that is when, provides paid time off when a serious health condition prevents you from working when you need time to care for a family member or a new child, or for certain military-related events for certain personal safety, or for certain personal safety issues. This month, October 2024, is the first quarter that the wage reports are due from employers. Now, what that is, very easily, is if you have an unemployment account, everything's going to be reported through that. So not a lot you need to do. July of 25, outreach grant funds will be available for community-based groups. December of 25 is the deadline for employers to notify employees about paid leave benefits. January 26 is when individuals and families can begin taking paid leave, and payroll deductions begin for employers and employees. Small employers can apply for assistance grants at that time. They're still trying to figure out exactly what that's going to be. And in April of 26 is when the first quarterly premiums are due from employees. Now, as an employer, you have the funding for this some will be from the state of Minnesota, some will be from the employer and the employee. So the employer has the option to say, no, I want my employees to pay that total amount, or I'm going to pay that total amount, or we're going to share in the cost. So that is going to be in addition to ESST. It kind of rides side by side with FMLA leave. If you are pregnant, my understanding is if you have somebody in your employment that is pregnant, they can take this time off starting, I believe it's this year, is what I read. I don't know how that would work because they don't start taking money until April of 26. So I don't know how that's going to work, but there was a little notation in there that they could start taking that early before it actually goes into effect. So if you are family leave to care for a family member with a serious health condition, or if you're bonding with a new baby or child in your family. So the father can take time off, paid time off, and be protected under FMLA leave for this. Medical leave, when it's your own serious health condition prevents you from working, that's kind of the easy one. But the bonding with family is kind of the new piece of it that we don't know. Both of these last two are changing almost weekly. There's little pieces of it that are still changing. So I gave you guys the highlights of it, just so you're aware of it. But stay tuned. There's more to come. You can go into the Minnesota site for both of these and, again, subscribe for updates.
So where is the Minnesota site?
Minnesota Department of Labor.
How many employees?
It's a deed site.
It's
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah, I was going to say, you might want to let everybody know, how many employees do you have to have before you are exempt from this?
Oh, before you're exempt?
You're not exempt.
You're not.
I know.
Nobody's exempt.
All employers,
All employers.
even if you have one employee,
If you have
Yep.
one,
even
if
if
you
you're self-employed.
Yeah, if you pay yourself a wage and collect unemployment and everything, you're eligible. So, yeah, it's good for the employees and the small employers, but one of the things my clients are saying as small business owners is, I'm going to have to raise my prices to cover this. And unfortunately, possibly. Yeah, otherwise their piece of it is reduced. Yeah.
Will you send me a copy of this PowerPoint?
Absolutely.
So we can make
Yep.
sure that it's available for
Yep.
people?
So the last piece is the resources. FinCEN.gov is for your beneficial ownership. The Corporate Transparency Act. There's a link when you get my PowerPoint. That's actually a link. My contact information, most of you guys have been here before, so it's my email has changed. being no longer at the university, I'm still with Northwest Minnesota Foundation doing an SBDC. Because of all these changes and everything, I have started a small HR consulting business, offering services just to help people stay up to date with this and to comply with the state laws as well, with their human resource needs, such as employee handbooks and knowing what an I-9 is and things like that. So I also have an email for that and a separate telephone. But other than that, thank you for letting me come in. Paul, thank you. Always a pleasure.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming.
Can I just add one thing real quickly,
Yes,
Josh?
sir.
October 30th, DEED is meeting with the Chamber of Commerce directors across the state of Minnesota in Plymouth. I plan on being at that meeting. The Chamber will also be putting out a series of webinars trying to educate Minnesota employers on the changes that are coming. The rules have not all been set yet. Like you said, Christine, they're still kind of in flux. But when those rules are finalized, we will definitely have several webinars to help Minnesota businesses comply with this. Probably the biggest thing is you're going to have to report, there'll be on your WSI form, the next one that you fill out at the end of the year, there will be a line on there for this because you're going to have your wages reported. That'll be part of this new program. So that'll be the only thing in 2024 that any employer has to worry about. But then moving into 2025 is when all the different rules are going to actually start going into place. And when you talk about the wage replacement, the salary, you only qualify for half of your wages. You don't get like your whole pay. It's a percentage of your pay. So just so this group's kind of clear on how that actually works. That I know has been set, but other than that, a lot of the other rules are still pending. So DEED is still working all through those. So.
Thank you, Barry.
Thank you.
I can't remember, is this included part-time as well? Paid leave?
Yes.
Okay.
ESST is also part-time.
I knew that one. I was just curious on the paid leave if it was part-time as well.
Any other questions? I'll leave it up to Ben.
I'm good.
Write your HR there. At your place. All right. Okay, so now we're going to item B, public hearing policies regarding lending, assistance, and border city tax credits.
Mr. President, I would ask that you ask for a motion to open a public hearing, a second, and then you'll have to take a voice vote on that.
So we need a motion to
To open the public hearing.
open a public hearing.
I'll move to open the public hearing.
Second.
You need a vote. Voice vote is fine.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
All opposed, same sign. All right, it's open.
Quite simply, basically what we've done is we've consolidated the policies that govern assistance, lending, and the border cities tax credits, the use of the border cities tax credits. These have all existed. We put them all in one place. In particular, I was concerned with making sure that Maggie had clear information. They were also updated to show any changes in references in the statutes. And I've worked with Mr. Gallstead and with Representatives Kennedy and Graven, as well as the Loan Committee, to go through this. If you have any questions, be glad to answer the questions. I will point out that among Ron and Gina and myself, there are 3 small changes, which is the 3 pages I put in front of you. The first one has to do with the business subsidy, and it will change on item B2 from 0 to 1. The state is still very concerned with having job growth. So it's important to have 1. If you can go to 0, but you will have to, anytime you want to deviate from your policies, you have to have a public hearing to deviate from the policies. So you could go to 0 for a particular job, but you have to hold a public hearing on that, okay? Mm-hmm. So we put 1 in here. You have 2 years in particular to comply, then you have a grace year if you need to, so that you would basically have 3 years to add 1 job. to be able to receive assistance. Okay? The second item says Appendix A. That is in the lending policies. And in general, we have the mortgage registration tax because standard practice is the person who's getting the mortgage pays the tax, not the city. So we need to correct that to show that it's to be paid by the city, not to be paid by the city, to be paid by the person who's borrowing the money. So we'll fix that part. The third one comes from the Border Cities policy. In the bottom paragraph, you have a 1, 2, and 3. I don't know where 2 came from, so 2 is deleted, so 1 and 3 are the policy, and it clarifies what's there. The committee did a wonderful job, and I appreciate everything that they did. One of the major things that we did is we increased for primary businesses the amount of the loan to $300,000, the possible loan up to $300,000, still at 1/3, but it can go up to $300,000 instead of the $149,999. We clarified that for all our other businesses. The committee has a list of the businesses that identified at the different loan rates. You see in the documents, it shows loan rates by type of business, primary business, regional business, and local business. And it recognizes the impacts of those businesses upon the local economy. And what we're doing is we have recommended the increase of that loan amount for primary businesses. There are about a dozen in town, but primary businesses to $300,000 because we need to make sure that they continue to stay and grow and have access to inexpensive dollars so they can do their growth. If any other questions on here, I'd be glad to answer them. That's the real Reader's Digest version. Okay. It's nothing new. The only thing really new is the $300,000 as opposed to $149,999. Everything else is basically it's been in place. We just put them all together.
Any questions on that from Paul or Maggie?
Do we need a motion to approve the changes?
You need a motion to close the president needs to ask if there's any public comment, and then we need a motion to close the public hearing, and then we will need a motion to approve the changes or recommend approval. You're going to approve the changes, and the city council also has to approve the changes because the policies affect both of your bodies. So tonight we'll take this to the city council in work session, and next week it'll go to the city council for approval at their regular meeting.
Any questions here or public-wise? All right, I will need a motion to close public.
I'll move to close public hearing.
Need a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you. Now you have to.
No,
I will move to approve the new policy updates as noted by Paul.
need a second?
I'll second.
Please call roll.
Aye.
Get all that, Brenda?
Yes.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Grinde.
Yes.
Hecht.
Yes.
Horken.
Yes.
Helms.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, everyone, and nice work.
Well, all on the benefit of the committee. Having good people makes everything a lot easier.
Makes the world go around. Curb appeal entrance sign update.
This is an update on what's going on. And there are two basic areas that we're looking at. Is curb appeal. These are the criteria that are being looked at by the committee. This will be ongoing, and Maggie will end up taking this over. The second part has to deal with entrance signs, and these are the standards we're looking at and the locations we're looking at. That will be over a couple of years to make sure that they're installed and put into place. And we're looking for a funding source. for both of these programs because we think that they will be valuable to upgrade the appearance of the community and to welcome people into the community. But Maggie will also be taking this over. I had an idea on what the sign should look like, so I passed that information along to Corey Thompson today, and he's going to actually enter it on to the thing so I can share it with the committee so they can see what my thoughts were. It's something that Maggie and I talked about, so that it's not a surprise. All these things, we waited to hold the committee meeting for the loan committee till Maggie got here. She got information before she started to work here, and this also tried to keep her apprised of what's going on, so as she steps in, it makes for an easier transition. Okay? There's no action required on this at this point. You just need to know what's going on and that this will be going on further. But I wanted to give you a report before I left. So do anybody have any questions?
I thought you were going to start a funding program for this at your personal retirement account.
Yeah, I have to make a whole lot more. Reed has to continue my salary for the next couple of months so that I can do this.
We're talking to you. Reed had nothing to do with this.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. 2025 calendar, meeting calendar.
Because we normally do this toward the end of the year, and because Maggie had not done this before, I decided to bring this forward at this point in the calendar in our October meeting. This is a proposed calendar. You need to make a decision on what you want to do in November, December, which we have combine the 2 months into one meeting. If we do it on 12/9, that means that we would close the application period for anything on the day before Thanksgiving. And the other option is to hold the meeting on the 16th of December and allow people to apply up to the Friday after Thanksgiving. It still provides time to hold a loan committee meeting, review the applications, and to get things to the EDA. And I would suggest that you let us know which dates you prefer, and then we will have the calendar in hand.
Any suggestions from anyone? Mr. Gallstead, I'd love to hear it.
I was just, the way the criminal court calendar has been modified, it would be, I always potentially have a conflict because they, like today, they go over
Sure.
on Tuesdays. Wednesdays from noon to 1 would work better for me. I don't know if there's conflicts other places because a lot of
This
times
time of the year, like-
they're not having court on Wednesday morning. It's in the
Yeah,
afternoon.
like Ben and I were talking, a week or two ago. This time of the year, any day that ends with Y for us is not
It's a little
good.
tricky, but yeah, Wednesday's a way better day for me than Tuesday. So I would be in favor of switching them to Wednesdays, 'cause I'm always in town on Wednesday.
I would say the same thing, because we don't usually have much out on Wednesdays because of
Yeah,
church
yeah,
and stuff,
yeah.
so I don't have much
And
out.
I'm
So that'd
okay
be-
with it too.
We're at the end of the month. I don't think there's a conflict in the meeting room. Is there, Brenda?
Planning Commission has their meetings the second Wednesday of the month, so
Yeah.
I'll just stay away from that.
And we're usually the third, right?
Fourth. These are set up for the fourth week of the month.
Oh, yeah, it's Water and Light first and the third. Yep,
Okay? That's so we can get you here more often, Josh.
I appreciate it.
I know that. So, for all these, that means 128 becomes 129, and 225 becomes 226. If everybody's in agreement on Wednesday,
Wednesday it is.
so
Do we need a
we'll
vote
change
on
this. Yes, please.
Can we
Well,
have,
we need to know what date we're doing it in December before we make a motion.
Well, yes, that's correct.
well, no, because if we change it to Wednesdays now, we got to change the date anyway.
Well, it's 12/17 or 12/10. Which day do you prefer?
12/10.
Well, if we go the, like you said before, the 9th was, application deadline would be the day before Thanksgiving now.
Yeah.
I feel like that might make it more hectic on things when most people are, everything's closed Thursday.
Yeah.
Some people are closed Friday as well, where then that would at least give into the next week for application deadline, right?
I agree. We're close Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, if that makes things easier for your office too, to be able to get things in, get it done, and not have people rushed in a short week.
Yeah, I'm not sure that we could actually turn a loan around in that, having it done over Thanksgiving weekend, okay? Make it easier on Maggie. Okay,
Maggie, what
go
would you
grade
like
it.
to see?
Potentially maybe the 12, 17, unless there's people who have vacation, 'cause some people might go out of town early.
It's too early to, I mean, we all have
Right.
kids or some, most of us, so it doesn't matter.
A lot of times, there isn't anything on the agenda anyways.
Yeah.
Then it's ended up postponed.
Okay.
I don't know where I'm gonna be 12/17 at 24 yet. So,
Okay, so 17th?
17th it is. Maggie's the boss.
All right, thanks.
Yep.
All right.
Then you need a motion, please.
So we need a motion to have that last meeting on the 17th and to move our meetings to Wednesdays,
The
starting
fourth.
for 2025.
The fourth Wednesday of the month?
Yes.
Fourth Wednesday of the month, yes, sir.
Okay, I'll move. You got all that, Brenda? Fourth Wednesday of the month at noon, and the
second.
December meeting will be on the 17th.
No, I said we need a second.
Oh,
I'll second.
yep.
Justin, you? Oh,
Okay.
Justin, okay, and Justin second. Please call roll. Or is this a voice?
I think you can do this one voice vote.
Question.
Oh, whoa, whoa, go ahead, Stump.
Question. I don't know if it's a big issue or not, but the Tuesdays always worked out good for the council. Is this going to make any big difference on what we get to the council? Because
It
it'll be
means-
like the following,
We couldn't take the items from today to the council tonight.
Yeah.
It means we have to do it the next week. It
Right.
means we have to plan accordingly.
okay, so it won't affect that too much then. Okay, that's all.
And if necessary, if I can't speak for Maggie, but if I were in the position like this week to have to get something, I would actually talk to the council in work session before I talk to the EDA, so it can go to the council next week anyway.
Sure.
I mean, because you deal with it with work session, the
Yep.
fourth Tuesday is work
We'll
session.
make it work.
So we can make things work.
Yes.
Yeah,
But thanks for asking.
just want to make sure that's,
Why don't you make a motion tonight then that they change theirs to Wednesdays?
their meetings?
All right, so all in favor on the Wednesdays, changing the meetings to, and then the 17th.
I,
Aye.
All opposed? Ron, you raised your hand. Okay. All right.
He doesn't have a
that's-
vote anyway, so,
Yeah.
nor do I, and
So
He just doesn't like
Wednesdays
being
it
late
is,
for
and then
lunch.
the 17th. Work for you too, Brenda? Okay.
So, we met today, and this, because we moved back the meeting that was scheduled in late September, or at the end of September. We have a meeting scheduled on October 22nd. My suggestion to you is, I don't think you need that meeting. I would suggest that you
I'll make the
cancel that
motion.
meeting.
Ben, second.
Second.
And this is when we ask any objection.
Overruled.
Yes.
Was there a retirement party or something
Yes.
that day
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
well? Okay, so no meeting, but I'll be in Arizona.
You're gonna
but
be
I
in
just wanna-
Arizona. You're gonna be
I won't
nice
be
and
able to be
warm.
there, I'm so sorry. Okay, so no meeting, so I won't miss
You can
anything.
do FaceTime.
No, thank you.
Okay.
From the pool?
That's your call.
The retirement party was like 2:30 to 4:30
Right.
Okay.
afternoon.
Or 2 to 4, something
Something
like
like
that.
that.
That area, late afternoon.
So all in favor of canceling the October 22nd meeting?
I,
Aye.
I've already put it down as unanimous. I don't think we're going to get
Well,
any
we're going to
objections.
be official here.
Yes, sir.
Ron is here and so is
Yeah.
Maggie. Got to be professional. All opposed? Barry?
I'm making no comment.
All right, thank you.
Before,
Go ahead, sir.
this then will be my last meeting. Maggie will have the next meeting. I went through this agenda with Maggie so that she could follow as I did it. But anything that is wrong in the future is something I failed to teach her. It's not what she failed to learn, it's what I failed to teach her, okay? So remember that and take it out on me. You'll find some way, I'm sure, to be able to accomplish that.
We'll send
But
you an email.
I know you will. You aren't shy. But I want to thank you. It's been a pleasure and an honor to work with all of you, and you have no idea how much I've enjoyed the opportunity to work with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
And you're
See, Maggie, we're a pretty easy group. We get along pretty good.
It seems like it, yeah. Hardly any
I
swearing.
think we got it. in
The
good
fights,
time.
the fights break out, it'll usually be on this end of the
Okay.
room. So-
They just threaten that we're on TV and then we all behave. That's all you have to do.
Yeah. And then Ron steps in.
Referees.
Yeah.
Should we skip
Okay.
it because we have.
All right, anything else?
Actually, Reed would have to be the referee, because that's part of what he does. So he could wear the striped shirt in here.
The agenda.
So I wasn't listening, I was.
We were talking about refereeing the fights. You're the referee. You can wear the striped shirt in here.
And I told him
keep
you were
order.
excused from that.
I mean, you could send him to the sin bin.
There you go.
Any reason either of those dates.
All right,
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
All opposed? Same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, everyone.
Mike's off.
So the 19th.